Thank you very, very much. We have some guests who are going to be joining us this morning. Now, I briefly mentioned this in the Spilling the Tea segment on 106 yesterday about this new pilot program that the Department of Environmental Health is launching. It sounds super exciting, but I think we need to get some details on exactly what it is. And we have several guests in the studio this morning who are going to break it down for us. So, first up, we have Mr. Director of the Department of Environmental Health, Mr. Richard Sims. Let's go ahead and pull him into the studio. Everyone say a virtual good morning to Mr. Sims. Hello, sir. I think you have yourself muted, so just hit that unmute button.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Sandy, for having us this morning on your show.
Yes. Good
Really
morning to
appreciate
you.
being here. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
I'm
being
going to
here
turn.
to share some exciting news this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we love exciting news on this program. So we also have joining him, Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike, I'm hoping I get the last name right. I'm going to go with Haworth, and he's Assistant Director of Solid Waste. I bet you there's a lot of that going around the place. Hello, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. You got it exactly right. One of the few times that someone gets my name right. Thank you very much.
Thank you both so much for joining the program this morning. I think people are still trying to call in, trying to win, honey child. Hold on one quick second. Marshall, we have a winner already.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, folks. They love a good giveaway, so but not to worry. Who knows? I think DEH is here to tell us what they're going to be giving the community. So I found this interesting. We saw this wheel bin pilot program. So maybe we can get a synopsis of exactly what this is. What is this all about?
Okay. Sandy, it's what we're trying to achieve here. In the prospect area, really, we decided to start there first in piloting this wheel bin program. Is to, in anything that you're trying to do and you want to do it right, you want to make sure that it's pilot properly so we can learn from it, learn the positives, the negatives, so that we can improve in those areas. So what this project is, that we're trying to roll out the wheel bin to give to members of the community, at no cost to them during this pilot, all right, for them to secure their waste. And some of the things that we looked at in terms of packaging, collection, and so on. We've heard a lot about where people are complaining that their garbage has been overrun by chickens and other vermins and dogs and all this sort of stuff, right? So we looked at that and to give people secure bins so that it can prevent that from happening. In addition, we've been having absenteeism issues with our staff based on sickness, continuous sickness from injuries that they receive on the job, having to dig into these bins, because as you can appreciate, that is a very rigorous exercise for if you're doing that for every day for 6 hours straight. Think about, I've always tried to throw this analogy out where you think about it for yourself, where if you're a gym member or you decide to do some workout, each person would do that for 45 minutes to an hour, and you're tired, right? So, and our guys are doing this every day, Monday to Friday, heavy lifting, 6 hours every day. So this project is to reduce, help to reduce the injuries and so on. So all that is required for them when they go to people residence is to, lift the wheel bin, roll it to the truck. The truck will be equipped with auto lifts that will just empty it and then just roll it back. So, and it creates a nice standard across the neighborhoods, so, people who are visiting the island as well, it can be a nice appeal as well, so that you can see that the Cayman Islands have some standards in terms of their waste management and collection.
Wow. So the main objective of some of the main benefits is it reduces manual lifting of the garbage bins.
Yes.
Reduces critters, everything from rats and chickens, everything from getting into the bin. Does that mean then that the top is supposed to be properly locked? Is that how it works?
Well, the lids are properly secured onto the bin,
Okay.
and we're going to ask members of the public who receive them to ensure that they're secured when they're not in use. So
Hmm.
and we'll also try to put some holes in the bottom just in case some people decide to leave them open for some reason, and water get in there and can fill it
Uh-huh.
up quickly through rain. So
You can have
um,
some drainage.
right.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, this certainly sounds like. And then now, do the trucks already have the capacity to lift these, or is that something that will be added on to the trucks?
Well, the trucks they're being outfitted at the moment.
Hmm.
There's already two trucks that have been equipped with these auto lifts.
Okay.
And I've ordered a new truck which will come with it. So we'll be able to roll that out next month.
Okay. And just remind us of how many trucks does DEH have that are in use at the moment?
Mike can speak to.
Yeah, I can jump in there. I
Mhm.
mean, on Grand we have 9 rear loaders that are in use, and typically we need around 7 to do the collections
Mike, can I get
on
you
the
to
bottom.
speak up just a little bit for me?
Yeah, sorry, we have 9 rear loaders that are in use every day,
Yes.
and typically we need around 7 to do the collections. Now, for this trial, we're looking to have 3 of those trucks that are fitted with a lift for use, so that we do have some redundancy in those trucks to do the collections. Bearing in mind that we're just going to be trialing this on one route per week, so we should be okay. I think
Hmm.
we've put some videos out on social media already of those lifts in action. They're fairly simple. They just hook into the front of the bin that we have, and take all the effort out of moving the bin, or moving your garbage, both for the resident and for our staff. So it's a win-win for both.
Hmm. Okay. Awesome.
We
So
hope.
I was just showing a photo here of what the bins look like. So this is what it's going to look like here. So tell us, I noticed there is an identifying number. Obviously, you're going to be labeling these bins. They're government property, so they belong to the Department of Environmental Health. And then we can talk some details in a minute here about how the program is going to be rolled out. But is this exactly what it's going to look like?
Yes, exactly what it's going to look like. What you see there in the video, in the photo.
Mhm.
Yes, they'll have identified numbers so that we can, know what number is distributed to each address, so we
Mhm.
can keep a track of those. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the plan is that we, for this pilot, that we get people to register. We want people to take part. We want people to come forward to sign up for the pilot,
Mhm.
rather than just put all the bins out on the streets and kind of expect people to know how to use them. We want people to engage. We will give you a free bin for use, that's owned by DEH. Each bin has its own unique identifier. We'll be able to assign that to the residents. We'll have your contact details. We'll be able to stay in touch. We'll be able to communicate throughout the length of the pilot, and really understand, both from our perspective in terms of picking up the garbage, as well as what's best for the residents too.
Mhm. Hmm. Beautiful. Okay, and someone is asking now about the details of the pilot program. So you're actually launching the pilot program first in Prospect. How was Prospect selected? Was this just a random selection, or is there something specific that you looked at with the Prospect area?
Well, the prospect area, we looked at the prospect area because it's when we looked at all our routes across, because we have divided this island in routes throughout, right? And when you look at the rest of them compared to Prospect, they didn't have what Prospect has in terms of when you look at the economic makeup of Prospect, its diversity. It's like I keep saying it's from one extreme to the next, right?
Uh-huh.
And so that will give us you know the kind of data that we need in terms of seeing how different people handle their waste at different levels, right? And not only that, just the roads themselves, some narrow, some wide, some all of these different things that comes with it. So Prospect was the right place in terms of when we looked at if we looked at the other districts, they didn't have the makeup
Mhm.
as Prospect did, and so we decided to go with Prospect based on that. And I think it will give us all the information that we need to
Mhm.
develop the program beyond the pilot.
Mm. Very good. We do have some questions coming in, which we'll get to here in just a second, but seems like people are excited about this announcement. Stacy says that's how they do it in Canada. Very nice. Lisa says, happy to hear this, DEH. Alice says, UK and Canada style. Nice. Thumbs up. Cameron says, will we still be sending everything to the dump, or will there be specific receptacles for different waste? So at this point, this is just providing, is it going to be one bin per household, or do you provide more than one depending on the household or the structure?
Yeah, I mean, it
Well,
depends. I mean, everything will still go to the landfill,
Mhm.
you know. But with it, for this pilot and you know the vision for this is to roll it out across all the islands. You know,
Mhm.
that's kind of where we want to be. But you know, we anticipate we'll just be putting the regular garbage, the household waste into these bins, and whilst we do have a recycling program, you know, those that program is run by the depots, mainly at the supermarkets. We'd ask people still to utilise those depots, but for now, for these residential bins, it will just be your household garbage going in there.
Mhm. Okay. All
And
right. So it's
in
not,
terms of
we're not quite
sorry.
there yet with recycling bins, but maybe this is the first start in that direction.
Yeah, definitely. And we kind of we want to uh, uh, develop the use of these bins. I know it's fairly simple; it's just a bin, isn't it? But you know, there are some rules about using it, and just using it for the garbage first of all is a good step on the road to sort of segregated waste at the households. You know,
Mhm.
for us, the way that we deal with the recycling materials is here at the Georgetown Landfill and Recycling Facility. Most of that work is done by hand. And we do have conveyor belts and balers and things like that for packaging and shipping. But you know, if we were just to collect from all the homes, you know, recycling, whether it's clean recycling or some owners may leave contamination there, probably overwhelm us with the volume. You know, so we need a facility to do that. But you know, in the
Mhm.
meantime, introducing initially this pilot scheme to gain an understanding of how it can work here. And then hopefully rolling it out in other areas and districts to follow, we can develop those behaviours later on.
Right.
Just in terms of how many bins, I know that was a question at the end. Sorry to
Mhm.
go on a bit, but we'll review that in each case. So we'd ask when people sign up to give an indication of the occupancy on the household, and we do have an engineering team in DEH who work out sort of waste production, waste quantities per household, and they would recommend probably one or two bins per household, I would expect, but it'll be
Mhm.
dependent on the occupancy.
All right. So to answer Patrick's question, so this is just regular garbage bins for now. We're not
yeah,
yet at the stage of recycling.
right.
And Danish is asking, what about waste segregation? We should have bins like they do in the US, different bins for different types of waste, which are picked up on assigned days. So that's part of the
Yeah,
sorting and recycling program.
yeah.
Soon come.
Yeah, that's certainly our long-term vision, right? We want to make sure
Mhm.
we'll get there, but we have to, you know, do everything. It's baby steps, right? So this is the first step, the pilot.
Yes.
We do residential collection, regular waste at this stage, then we can do the add-ons later on, right? We can
Yeah.
always do the add-ons, but I still want to make sure that we encourage people to use the recycling depots that are currently within all the districts. They can, still participate and contribute to recycling because we do that. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
still a lot of people out there still ignorant to the fact that as to whether we are doing recycling. We are doing recycling. We are doing
Yeah.
it,
Well,
and but,
where are these bins? Where are the recycling depots? Sorry.
well, the depots are you have one and just close in Prospect there at Bar Camps, right? That used to be at Hurley's, but we now moved that to that location at
Okay.
Bar Camp. And we have at Foster's Food Fair Airport, and we also have one in
Mm.
West Bay by the stadium. We have one in Northside by the Civic Center in Northside. We have one in East End across from the the play field there in East End. All right,
Uh-huh.
and we also have a one in the countryside. All right, so
Oh.
we know, and we just opened a new one in Bordentown, matter of fact, a few weeks ago, right by next door to the police station, right by the play field there. So we encourage people to go on out and use use these facilities, especially
Mhm.
those people who are big on recycling.
Mhm.
Just again,
We all should be, by the way.
yeah, we are recycling. 'Cause like I say, sometimes uh, as long as we've been talking about recycling in Cayman and telling
Mhm.
people how we do it and where to go, I'm still surprised that people are still ignorant to the fact that that are saying we don't do recycling. We do recycling. We're just not at the place where we can actually come to your homes just yet, right?
Mhm.
But that's the long term vision that we have, and we'll get
Yes.
there one day. But we just have to start here.
I mean, I have to admit that I am ignorant to the fact that you have all these recycling depots. So maybe we need to advertise those more.
Mhm.
Because when you mentioned them, I was like, oh, really? Huh.
Yep.
I was trying to
And
visualize them. So,
we do our best. We do try and put the message out there. So
mhm.
whenever we open a new depot, we do announce it. But just as an indication that if you were to separate out your household waste into the things that
Yeah.
you do recycle, so your type 1, 2 plastics, your paper, your cardboard, your metal cans, you can probably reduce the amount of actual garbage that goes to landfill by half. And
Yeah.
while we're carrying out this pilot, we're trying to reduce the strain on our collections team,
Mhm.
on the staff doing the work. If you reduce your garbage by half, you're reducing that strain that we put on the staff every morning. And the pile of, sometimes you see a pile at someone's house, in these
Mhm.
enclosures. You reduce that volume down and improve the visual aspect of your property as well. Whilst recycling at the same time. So we do
Mhm.
promote it, we do support it, and all the materials that we can recycle, they do get packaged and shipped to the US.
Yes. Okay, folks. So, go and find out the closest recycling depot, and you can go and just drop off your recyclable items there. It's a change in mindset, isn't it, gentlemen? I mean,
Yes,
sometimes
absolutely.
it takes a minute for people to get there, but I can tell you, we recently had visitors from the US, and they went to the garbage bin, and they were like, "Where's the recycling area?" And I
Mhm.
was ashamed to say, we don't
Yeah,
have one.
yeah. Not yet.
Yes, not yet, soon come.
Uh,
And big shout out to Foster's because, I think it was last year, the year before, Foster started giving out these little green bins that you could
yes.
use to recycle your cans and stuff like that. And I have one here. I'm just using it to store like doggy toys or something.
Oh
It's
no.
not being used to recycle. So shame on me.
That's not good.
Yeah,
I got
need to
one
do
from them.
better.
I got three from them, and I'm using them.
Yes, yes. Well, now that I know that there's recycling depots,
Yeah.
I'll pull that out and start to recycle at least cans or something.
Yes.
And what can be found at the recycling depots? We got cans, bottles. What else can I take there?
Well, for now we have cans,
Mhm.
cardboards, and plastic type one and two plastics. All right.
Okay.
I'm working on some things with to bring back the glass, but we're not yet there yet. So I'm still in negotiation and discussion with our partners, so we can reintroduce that back again, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
So we should be making some announcements about that in the near future. Because I'm
Okay.
not going to get called about that as to whether we're going to start recycling glass again. um,
Yes.
we're aiming to do that and shortly,
Mhm.
but we're still in discussion with our partners who will be receiving. So as soon as that is finalized, then we'll
Mhm.
move forward on that.
All right. So some other benefits, folks, of the new recycling, the new pilot program where they're going to provide you with these bins is that it's going to improve public health. Keeping garbage off and debris off the streets, keeping it properly secured until it can be collected, all leads to better public health. Reducing litter for sure, improves the visual appearance of homes and streets, and makes it easier and safer for residents and the collection crew. So let's do some speed dial questions here. I see some people do have some questions. I think most of them will be answered. Um, so, who is actually participating in this pilot program, and do you have to sign up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do. Sorry, Mr. Simpson.
No, go ahead, Mike. You can explain.
Yeah, we'd like people to sign up, and just to be clear, we are just doing a pilot at the beginning. It's one route within the prospect area. If you go to the DEH website on gov.ky/DEH, you'll be able to see the information there and see where the route is. But we're off roads off Prospect Point Drive, Mangrove Street, Poindexter, Bonneview, Patrick's Island. It's in that area, so it's just homes in that area to start off with. Yeah, there's the plan there. So if you're in that area, you'll be eligible to register. We will take your details and then provide you with information on the next steps and when you can expect the bin and when we can start collecting. And just to bear in mind that regular collections will be carried out at the same time in this area. So if people don't wish to take part, the same truck will still come and collect your regular garbage if you don't have one of these bins. So the way the truck's set out, we can mix and match. We can do both. But we'd like to get as many residents on board in this area. And there's approximately 300 locations on this route that we would like to service. So if you're in this area, you can sign up either by the website, give us a call, 949 6696, and we'll give you the information you need.
All right, very good. We actually have some streets here. Again, the website will share that link. It's got all the useful information for you. But here's if you live on Prospect Route number 3, covering all of the streets that you see here, Palm Island Circle, Oxford Court, Dogwood, Loch Lomond Way, lots and lots of streets included in this area. We do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Morning.
Morning.
I heard your guest say that the bins will belong to the government.
Well, it belongs to DEH, yes.
Right. So that means that they're going to set rules about how their property is handled. Am I correct?
Probably some basic rules.
Can they help us understand what the public would be expected to do in relation to these bins?
Okay. All right. So let's go through some of the, I think we were going to get there, but thanks, Danny, for that question. Let's go through what can be put in them, first of all.
Yeah, well, listen, the things that can go in there, your household garbage. So
yes,
it's things like containers from the kitchen. Normally it's things like waste food. There's things from the bathroom, sanitary items. It's just your normal household garbage. We'd like the things that we do recycle. We'd like those to be, if you're going to take part and separate them out and take them to the depots, obviously. But if people are not willing or haven't taken that on board yet, we will still collect those items if they're in the garbage. We don't want things like obviously hazardous materials, so things like oil, batteries in particular. The things that we don't want in the garbage at present, that can cause a risk, certainly a fire, like hot coals as well from barbecues and what have you. So it's the regular garbage that the homeowner would put out currently. That is what would go in these bins as well. And your caller talked about rules.
yes.
And there's a little bit. It feels like there's some feeling with that. It sounds a bit like a negative thing. Like we've got rules on this. We'll supply the bins for the pilot, and we will retain ownership on them because it is a pilot.
Yes.
And the reason we want to do that is because we want to look after them, and we would expect the homeowners to do the same as well. So just fair use, take care. We'd expect them to hopefully clean it from time to time if there is any muck or debris that develops in there. But we appreciate that sometimes things will happen. bins may get damaged. They may get lost. These sorts of things. And we'll take each case on its own. But we would likely repair or replace those bins, within limits, throughout the period of the trial, because the reason why we're doing the trial is to gain information.
Right.
And we want good feeling as well. We want the homeowner to be pleased with the bin, pleased with the service, and the way that it all works. So the much we can do to assist in that, the better.
All right. Now, should we? How big are the bins? By the way, this might be useful.
The 96 gallons. 96 gallons.
That's a pretty good size.
Yeah.
What if I'm a resident that has some residents have like a fenced in area, like a brick, what do you
Garbage
call it?
enclosures.
Little garbage
The-
enclosure. What if
Yeah.
the 96 gallons doesn't fit in there?
Well, I
Will it
mean,
be placed outside of that?
we'd prefer that they roll it out where we can easily access it.
Right.
If it's going to be a challenge within the enclosure, then we encourage them not to put it in there for us. Some I've already was talking to someone that lived in Prospect just yesterday, and it was like, you know what, if I can put it in my garage and then put all my garbage inside, I'm like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You can put it in your garage, keep it there, but make sure you roll it out the night before on Tuesday nights, because the collection days will still be on Wednesday in the area, so you can because some people are accustomed to that in the States, for example. You can't legally pull it out until the night before, right? So he was talking to me about those things, but we'll talk about legislation another time if we want to get into that. But I think for now, but even so, the pilot may tell us that we need to develop further legislations to handle this thing as well. So,
Yeah.
but
We did
certainly,
have
as
someone
long
ask
as we
that
have.
saying-
Yeah,
Um,
as long as we have access, they make it just roll it out so we can have quick and easy access, and then after we're done and roll it back into their yards, then they can put it back inside if they wish.
Yeah, we did have someone ask whether they said some people put their bin on the side of the road. Is that legal? Should it not be on their property? So, what are the current rules so that we are all clear? What are the current rules on where you're supposed to put the bin?
Well, the current rules is that you're supposed to roll it out not onto the streets, but in front of your home, right? For us to collect it on collection days. And that's on collection days. You don't. Some people would leave them out in the street for until the next week. That's not the proper way to do it, right? And it's your responsibility to roll it back in and put it up how you want it on your property. But just make sure that it's rolled out in front, but not on the streets to obstruct traffic in any way.
And
So that answers
using
that
using these bins gives us an opportunity to kind of confirm what those requirements are. We would like the people that participate can keep the bin wherever they want. Typically where I'm from in the UK, typically it's near your kitchen. That's where you generate a lot of your near the back door, near the kitchen, and you open the kitchen door and you're tossing your garbage into the bin. You roll it out on the day when you need, and you bring it back again. It's just convenient. But at the moment, the law says it's kind of at the curbside, to the edge of the road. But the way that the collections go at the moment is that there is no standard set out for a household. Some people may have enclosures, they may be built into the wall, they may just put a bin out. There's lots of different, there's infinite variety, and in a lot of those cases they're not near the curbside, and that means that our collections team have to carry those materials sometimes some distance to the truck before they can get it in the truck. And if those materials are heavy, then that gives us some problems. But if we're able to just say, wheel your bin to the edge of the road, we'll hook it on the truck, flip it, put it back where it was, you put it where you want, I think that just makes life simpler for everyone.
All right. Cameron has a question. I think we may have answered this, but just in case, how many bins are going to be involved in the pilot program?
Yeah, well, we have about 400 bins, I think it is somewhere around there. And the route itself, and Mike can know these numbers better than me because he manages this every day. But it's about 300 plus homes, right? So what is going to happen is we will have officers, or environmental health officers, and along with some solid waste members, go out on start. I think it's starting this Saturday to the residents, and we'll be going door to door, seeing what their enclosures look like, how many occupants is, and that will determine how many bins um, they get. As long as we have enough to to give more than one. But I think because there's some place in the community also has apartments, right? And so somebody say, well, how are you going to handle those apartments? Well, the current rule is right now, if you have 10 or more apartments, as by law, right? You have 10 or more apartments, you're going to be considered a residential, commercial collection point, right? So, which means you're required to have at least a minimum eight yard bin, and that is serviced by commercial trucks, so not by the residential crew, right? But if you have an apartment, this is 9 or less, then we'll have to consider then looking at that and see how many bins can be supplied at this apartment complex, because they're considered residential, right? So if they're part of this route, then we'll have to consider that in terms of how many. So it all depends on how many persons live in the household, and because well, we didn't come up with the 96 gallons just out of the thin air. This is something that we thought about, and we look at how many persons, the average number of persons occupy a household, and we look at, because remember now, in our calculations, each person in this island the average person dispose of 7 pounds of garbage every day. And you can probably judge that when you think of it for yourself and say, okay, how many? Most of us have those 13-gallon garbage bins in our kitchens, right? And so you say, okay, I normally put out about 2 or 3 of those every week, and then you look and say, how many of us live in a house, right? It's only 3 or 4, right? So that's how you look at it and say, okay, well, let's give them more than what we think they should need. That way, there shouldn't be any cater for overflows, right? So hence the reason the 96 gallons came about. So we are thinking based on your waste outputs, then we should be able to manage the work with the 96 gallon.
Very good. All right. So great information, 9362626 if you have a question. Cameron is reminding everyone, don't rough them up and damage them, then blame the homeowners and charge them for damage. So obviously your employees, as you mentioned earlier, will now have equipment on the trucks that can properly lift these. So that takes off, quite a bit of handling of them for sure. And I'm supposing that they've been instructed that you don't just throw these bins back down on the ground, right? These are government property.
Absolutely. The team has been going through some training. I know Mike and took them through some rigorous training last week, so that they, in terms of how they roll the bins. So, because it may sound simple, you just roll the bin to the truck and it lifts goes and takes it up, but it is a technique to all of that, right? To make sure that while we're collecting the waste, we don't damage the bins ourselves, right? Through the mechanism. So the staff have now been trained, and we're ready to go. Yeah. And so like I said, the most important thing for me with this whole thing is for the health and safety of the staff, to prevent long-term injuries, on themselves, so we want them to be able to do their job safely, so they can continue to serve you and the public, with efficiency and on-time service, quality service, and these are the things we want to make sure that we continue to improve on.
All right, folks. If you're just joining us on the radio or perhaps on social media, we have representatives from the Department of Environmental Health joining us this morning, and they're talking about a trial wheeled bin pilot project, which is going to be launching in the Prospect community. They're going to do the first pilot there, and then depending on the success of that and what data they obtain, it could then, I suppose, go district by district and island wide. So let's talk about the actual duration of the pilot program.
Yeah, we're proposing to start at the end of September. So we're looking to get people registered and signed up before then, so we understand how many people are on board, where the bins are going, get those delivered in time for that start date. So we've got some time under our belt right now, so that's why we're doing all this work to kind of get the message out there. In terms of the duration, we've just earmarked ourselves 6 months to gather information. We're collecting sort of baseline conditions at the moment. We talked about the benefits before in terms of reductions of litter, reductions of infestation, vermin, things like that. We're looking at the route now to try and kind of quantify what it looks like now, so that as we move on through the trial, we can do that assessment again to show these benefits, along with a survey that we're going to give each participant to provide us with information about how they feel, both about our service at the present time, plus how the community looks now. What we're looking like now. We can repeat that through that 6 month period. And once we gather that information, we can take the view at that point. Whether we can invest more money, which is what it is, invest more money to buy more bins and put more lifts on trucks and expand it again. This 6 month period will give us that information on the best route forward.
All right. We have Lavana says, I should have taken a picture this morning to show the way that my bins were thrown all over the place. Oh my goodness. Yes, some improvements needed there. Mr. Sims said they're getting some training, Lavana. So hopefully they'll do a little bit better with government property. But overall, Mr. Sims, do your truck, I guess it's hard on them. Like you said, they're lifting all day. Maybe even by 9 o'clock in the mornings, they're already tired. I don't know. And, they get kind of lazy. But, are you having discussions with them about how they're treating people's bins?
Yes, we have been, and you know what, we've seen some improvements in some areas. Sometimes they say old habits are hard to break, but
Yes.
we're working with the team, and we're constantly, having reminders and meet, in all our meetings, we constantly remind them. And I know Mike and the operation manager always on top of those guys in relation to those complaints. So we're making improvements. I would like to see it a little faster than what is happening now, so that we can reduce the complaints in the way that we've been receiving. And the only complaints in relation to residence collection recently is just that people are saying we haven't been putting back their bins properly. But for the most part, things have been good, but except those little things. But we want to make sure that we provide good quality customer service. So it's important for us to do it all the way through, not just about collecting the waste on time and on schedule, but these little things to have an impact on our customer service. So we'll continue to ask the team to make sure that we improve on that.
All right. Very, very good. So just to clarify, folks, DEH is launching the program. You should keep the wheel bin within your residence or your property until the night before your appointed collection date. Now, we have someone saying that, sometimes they're putting garbage out and then nobody comes to collect it for days later. Is there anything that we need to know that's going on with collection dates, or are you guys pretty much on schedule at the moment?
Well, we're on schedule at the moment, but whenever you see that happens, right, there's always something wrong, right?
Yes.
There's two things that's going wrong there, because the collection days are set. Monday's a West Bay, Tuesday Georgetown, Wednesday Prospect up to Newlands, Thursday Bordentown. I think that's what it is, and then Friday Eastern District, right? So the thing is, if you don't see us coming, something went wrong. It's either, these trucks are mechanical, right? They break down. We have issues. I keep telling people, right? Remind people, our trucks or our vehicles are the only trucks on this island that go to every single resident every week, in every roads, every street, and there's wear and tear. They're gonna be breakdowns, right? So if that happens, that means we're going to be delayed. Not that we don't want to come or we're not coming. We're just going to be set back a bit. And sometimes we have staff that are injured as a result. This is exactly why we want to launch this program, to reduce those injuries. And so when persons are sick, and then we have to try to make up to say, okay, ask other guys who are fit and healthy to take on the other routes. These things cause delay. But once everybody's up and running, all the equipments are going, you notice that we're on time, we're on schedule, and there are no issues. But we do try to make up. That's why sometimes you find that on a Saturday, some people say, well, they notice when we didn't come on a Friday. Yeah, we're in on the weekends to try to make up for those miscollections, right? But most of the times, those are the two issues that cause us to be delayed, right? But other than that, but so far so good. We've been for the last couple of weeks back on track. There have been no real issues per se. And then coming next month or by the end of this month, there'll be additional trucks coming to be added to the fleet. So we're constantly trying to make sure that we keep up our equipment up to date and service regularly so that we can continue to meet the collection demands.
Be right back, guys. Go to the car.
All right, so we've got multiple callers on the line. Denny, you're up first. Good morning again.
Yeah, morning again. Is it possible on the bins that you can put on the bin the route number or information, however it is that you would designate a specific route, so that in the event that you have mechanical issues, that you can just send a message to the press saying route so-and-so is going to have issues for the next 3 days, and people could just simply look at their bin and says, that applies to me.
But we do that, but it seems like sometimes I don't think it's when we send out our messages, it's heard, right? Because whenever we're going to be delayed, we normally send out a press release, and publish on our website to say, okay, we're running these particular areas, and we would name the streets, so you know that once you're on that street, there's a little delay. But it seems like quite often not people miss that.
You send it to the media.
If we're going to be delayed for any real extended period of time, we normally send those out to the media, it's up, well, once it gets to them, if they, I can tell you, I know I've heard it quite a few times whenever we send it out, but for the wider public, sometimes they miss it.
I mean, typically, we'll, if we are delayed, it will typically be by a day. And what people won't see is the work that goes on in the background to catch up. So let's say, for example, we didn't, we were missing a truck. The route that truck would have done would then be shared amongst the other routes. So everyone that's working would actually be doing more to try and catch up. And the teams that we have here are very committed to doing that. Both through the supervisory team and the drivers and the collectors. We work very hard to catch up. Typically, we would be a day behind if anything. Now, we service over 10,000 locations a week here on Brand alone. We're not always going to get it right. There will be locations where maybe the garbage is missed for whatever reason. We would certainly ask people to call DEH, call customer service, so that we can identify that, and your call will be logged, and we will work to find out why and get that rectified. If we don't, we can't see every location.
Sorry,
go ahead, please.
I have no doubt that you guys work hard. I understand the complexities involved in the scheduling and reliability and all that. I get all of that. That's fine. I don't have a problem there. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this quality of service that I get from DEH is good. So, I mean, I particularly don't have an issue. I'm just trying to highlight an area that I think that the message could be more efficiently delivered to the end user in the event that the worst case scenario plays out, and you can't deal with with the garbage in the time
Sure.
that you require for it to be done.
Yeah.
To me, if my bin says Route 6 on it, and you send a message to the media saying, hey, Route 6 is going to be affected for the next 3 days, that's a very simple, I don't need to call customer service, it's written right on the bin. I heard it on social media, I heard it on CMR, I heard it wherever. Route 6 is affected. So I know I don't need to call you, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Sure, yeah, we take that on board for sure, and we have a communication officer that works with the department that takes care of all that. So that's not an issue for us. We'll certainly take that on board.
All right, thank you so much. We do have another caller. We're actually gonna give them a call back because there was a little bit of couldn't quite hear Denny with them on the line at the same time. So let's go ahead and give this caller a call back. Just 1 second. Good morning,
Hey,
caller.
Bill.
Good morning.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I just wanted to ask a quick question because I'm just actually in the UK at the moment. Morning, everybody. This is Kenneth Bryan. And one of the practices I've noticed, and I just asked the professionals on hand to probably comment or give a viewpoint. But in the UK, you're not allowed to bring your garbage out until the day of, which means that you never, if you go on certain streets now, people put garbage out from the day they get it. You know what I mean? Like if your bags, if you got it be picked up on a Thursday, but your garbage can is full on a Monday, you'll put the garbage out to the top of the road, sometimes on the road, which is, in my opinion, against the national roads authorities law. You can't put it on the road. You're supposed to have an allocated position on your land. But what people do is you put the garbage out from Monday until Thursday when it needs to be collected. And what happens is you create a look, a feel of you drive down a neighborhood and there's garbage because it's a culture, right? Everybody just puts the garbage out as they get it, as opposed to holding it like what they do in the UK. They hold it in their garbage can, and the garbage can is probably kept for, like you heard the professional on hand say, they hold it by their kitchen or close to their home, and then they roll it out the night before. So you never actually ever see garbage because you roll it out the evening before. The next morning it's collected, and most people, they know when they wake up, they go out, they take the garbage can, they put it back around the back of the house. So you never actually see this garbage look within a neighborhood. And I think we should take on that similar practice. I just don't know if that's being considered because we don't have any rules as to when you're allowed to put your garbage out. You're allowed to put it out Monday to Sunday. But we only get collected once a week. So that means there's 6 days of the week where there's garbage at every house, and it gives a perception from the cleanliness perspective. And this is important from a beautification perspective of our neighborhoods and our streets. So just wondering if that kind of thought process has been considered for potential proposal for us to accept in the future, because it gives a look and a cleanliness approach to how we deal with garbage. I'll leave it there.
Okay, thank you so much, Minister. Appreciate it. And for clarity, the director did say that is supposed to be the case here. Is that actually embedded in legislation?
Well, the legislation requires you to. It does say that you have to put your waste out the night before, right? But the problem is when it needs to be amended to the extent to give penalties for that, right? So while it says the night before, it doesn't give any more teeth other than to say, for example, if you don't do it, if you do it, if you put out your waste before that, what will happen? What are the penalties for doing that? So there has to be some, amendments to the legislation to have that enforced. But that's certainly, like I say, we're not taking anything off the table during this whole survey that we're conducting. So those are the things that, will tell us that, okay, yes, we need to implement this aspect of it, but it will require additional legislation to support it.
All right, so we have someone who said, I'm just tuning in. What's the pilot program for? Hello. Get caught up. The Department of Environmental Health, folks, is launching a pilot program.
We can't go over it again. Sure.
In the district of Prospect, first and foremost, for the Prospect community, for a period of 6 months starting in September. The proposed new waste collection system is aimed at testing the implementation of what they're saying is world-class standard mechanic. Oh my goodness.
Mechanical.
Mechanized. Good grief. Collections from residential locations. And this is before any new waste collection system is considered. So we're taking baby steps. We're going to be doing this trial. The trucks are being upgraded and retrofitted so that then they can pick up these 96-gallon garbage bins. It's going to improve a lot of things, including reducing manual waste, reducing issues with vermin. Oh, Lord. Caller, we're getting a lot of background noise from you. Hello? Hi, caller. Oh, my goodness. When you call in, folks, try to end whatever background conversations you might have been engaging in. And if you got yelling and screaming in the background, find a quiet area to place your call. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning, Sandra. I have a couple of questions
Sure.
to do that. Garbage collection. I just heard that I think they set an example that West Bays are Monday. So I think they need to clarify that because garbage collection for West Bay didn't get picked up until yesterday down Mount Pleasant and the shore side. They also need to say that if collection for homes are Mondays and then residential area are Mondays and then apartment complex and businesses are what days. Because I know, for example, someone that is paying for garbage collection to be picked up twice a week and it doesn't happen every week. So if you're going to implement rules across the border, you need to implement rules within your organization for your staff as well. Because there are certain drivers that do not want to pick up certain locations.
Sorry, yeah, a bit of background noise there. But yeah, I mean, in terms of West Bay, there was a
Instead of a truck being broken down, they should do an announcement. Announcements are free on Facebook, Instagram, any kind of social media. I mean, if a person is sick, he's sick. Yes, you can't do nothing. But if you have a truck that is broken down, it's going to be breaking down for 1 week or 2 weeks. The public needs to know.
Yeah, but like I say, we do send out messages, and whether people listen to them, is another thing, because I can tell you, I'm surprised sometimes with the information we get back from people who saying that they haven't heard this, they don't know this, they don't know that, and we constantly trying to put information out, and and some people, like I say, will get the information, but it's not everybody listen to the radio. I don't think. During times when we need them to. But we do have a communication of some sort. We do send out messages when these things are happening. But for some reason, it doesn't reach the ears that needs to. But we'll continue to wrap it up and ensure that we continue to send out communications when there are going to be delays. Because like I say, these units are mechanical and they need service, and sometimes we have to take them off the street to take them out of the rotation to get them serviced, to ensure that they can last us quite a long time, So, but we'll make sure we to continue to improve on our communications in this regard for sure.
And our all the collection schedules are on the DEH website via the government website, so that information is there. And I think, like I said before, we typically, if we are going to be behind, it'd probably only be one day.
Yes.
Max 2. I mean, we've collected all our residential routes within the week. Going back a number of years that I've been here now. I can't recall a time where we've overrun a week, which is kind of where things were a number of years ago. We're certainly not there now. But like I say, even if we have collected all the routes within a day, on the day that it's said to be done, and we do that week by week, there will still be some residents that get missed. There will still be some collections that don't get made for a variety of reasons. Sometimes things may be blocked in. Sometimes we've overlooked it. We're not blameless in all this, but we just ask people to get in touch, and we will work hard to rectify that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Some people suggest maybe sending out your message on CMR. A few messages came through saying that. All right, we've got more
Well,
callers.
if that works better, then we'll certainly consider that as well.
Yes. All right. We do have a couple callers on the line. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Morning, Sandra.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Will the pilot program involve recycling, like how people sort through recycling and they put a
Not
recycle
yet.
bin?
So we did address that earlier, and
Oh, sorry,
not
I'm
at
just
this
tuning in.
time.
So, okay.
Mhm.
Will
So-
it be sometime in the future?
Yes, that's the end goal.
Is that in the work?
Soon come.
Yes, yeah, that is a long-term plan. But we're encouraging you to still use our depots, and I can guarantee you, wherever
Yeah.
you live in any district, there's
Mhm.
one depot located within your district.
Right. A caller, did you know that there were recycling depots in every single district?
I did not know that. I know
Okay.
that you have a gas station and the big bins, but I didn't know that it was one in every district.
Yep. Apparently,
Well-
I didn't know that either. So we gotta
Well,
spread the word.
yeah, and these are the things that and I can tell you, right, Sandra, this been at least 5 years, right? And we've been
Wow.
and so we we've been promoting these things. What I could say, you have people who listen to your show and probably won't listen to another show or another radio station that we advertise these things on, and then everybody go, oh well, I've never heard or I was never told. But these the only recent depot that we opened recently is the one in Borden Town. And that was just about 2 months ago now. I would say it's been there, right?
Where in
But the
Boston
rest-
Town is that, sir?
right next door to the police station, right by the football field.
Okay, good to know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Good stuff. Well, we got to spread the word about these depots. I mean, from a communications perspective, you know, what I find, and this is anyone who's trying to get messaging out there, you can't just say something once and expect people to get it. You do need to say it multiple times, and you use multiple avenues as well. So, you know, even with our, we've got over almost 80,000 people on Facebook alone. So Facebook is definitely a good way to get out messaging. Each post will reach thousands of people, but you know, you can't just do one singular post because maybe that day some people weren't on and they missed it. So, you know, you do multiple things. You do stuff on radio, you do stuff on websites, on your own social media channels. CMR obviously has Instagram and Facebook. You know, so you kind of spread it out in terms of reaching the most people. Even WhatsApp, we have a huge WhatsApp community, so that's why every single thing that we post on Facebook, on our website, we then send to a WhatsApp group because people are kind of lazy. They don't want to go looking for the information. They want it delivered right to their inbox, right to their WhatsApp messages. And so I think that that's a key takeaway as well. Juliet says the exact same thing. She says, I would suggest sending the message to Sandra and CMR, and the folks will definitely get the message. Caller, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning to you and good morning to your guest.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, just a quick question.
Sure.
Do you think the government move towards the future picking the garbage up twice a week?
Well, we used to do that. But what happened?
Let me explain. The goal is, and I can tell you, to get back to once to twice a week collection sometime. To do that, you know, it's going to take twice the amount of trucks that we have now, twice the amount of staff to get there. The problem is why we slip back to once a week is simply this. If you look around the Cayman Islands, this island has been growing at rapid rate, right? I can use so many examples. There's so many different locations, but I'll just use Savannah for example, right? Before the Frank Hall homes went in, we could have gone and collect your garbage twice a week. But then when you find this mass development start going on, Ross Island, they were empty lots, empty land that we used to pass, no problem. Now it's a whole development, right? and these developments are spread across. What a lot of people don't see, because sometimes we're so caught up into our busy schedule. I keep telling people these days we're so busy that we don't notice a lot of things, because the system got us going three places: work,
Mhm.
home, and grocery store, right? So you don't get to see how rapidly this island is developed. What I just remember I mentioned
Mm.
earlier, we are the only department in the Cayman Islands that goes to every single home every week. We
Mhm.
know and see every single development that you're not seeing. So when we are in there, going a place that we used to pass, no problem. Now it's a whole development. We're spending 2 hours of collection in that area. We
Mm.
go down to another development. We're spending 2 hours. I remember the
Mhm.
days when Lookout Gardens, for example, were just a few homes. Now it's one big mass development that we are actually
Mhm.
have to go in. And so it is, I can continue to name these different developments across the Cayman
Yeah.
Islands that you're not seeing, that we see every day. So people say, well, yeah, you need to get back to twice a week. It's not
Yeah.
as easy as that. It means I have to double up on resources to do that. And is it achievable? Absolutely. But we just need to get back to understand that we have to grow. The department has to grow along with how the massive development that is going on.
Mhm.
Condominium. You look at you know many condominiums and apartments that are going that has been
Mhm.
constructed all over this island, right? That we have to service, right?
Mhm.
So we can get there, but yes, it would require so much more in terms of expenditure,
Mhm.
resources, and to keep up.
Yeah.
But we're hoping to
Yeah.
get up. We're hoping to get there, because I put a proposal to my ministry, and see how we can get, but what the cost will be to do that. And I'm hoping that they'll take that on board to see if we can get by there someday.
Mhm.
I hope they do, because I mean, common sense will tell you the island is growing,
Mhm.
and you need to be, the resources are being consumed, so you need to have these things up there. I mean,
Mhm.
we've
Yes,
been this is about your pay grade and stuff. Another
right.
department doesn't have anything to do with it. It's those above you. But I mean, they should really consider that should be what I call a necessity. You know,
Right.
and I hope that we don't get to the situation what the minister was talking about there just now, that you
Mhm.
gotta keep the garbage somewhere else other than at the garbage containment before you put it out, because you imagine
Well,
to
you're
keep him
supposed to be. Well, I
two
think the
two
point the
garbage
minister.
bags two garbage bags two garbage bags garbage inside your house until the day they gonna collect it, or I got put it somewhere about
Well,
other than by the garbage fund. I
well,
mean, I
I
know
think
some
that
people that don't have garbage containment. Now I could understand that. Don't just put it on the roadside. You know, put it inside,
right.
have it inside your land there close to the roadside. But somebody with a garbage containment, they
Mhm.
car the garbage from time. They car the garbage out of the house. They cars it out there. You can't have a garbage bag sitting in your house there for a day or two until the garbage come back. So until the garbage truck come. So I hope that we don't have to get to that, because that would really be lowering the bar on the garbage situation. You
Mm.
know.
All
So
right.
I
Well,
thank you for your time, and it's
yes,
very
sir.
interesting to hear what I say.
Okay. Thank you. And we have more calls coming in. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning again. That caller just made a very
Good
interesting
morning.
point. But what I noticed is that the gentleman actually deflected on the situation. Um, if you know the island is growing and you see it growing, your answer is that you have limited trucks. Have you ever thought about investing in buying more trucks? Do you
Well,
think
hold
it's
on,
going
hold on now,
to
caller.
get
Hold on,
the
hold on,
island is not
hold
going to
on.
grow
Back it up,
anymore?
back it up, back it all the way up like that garbage truck. This is not a matter for the gentleman that you see sitting in front of you. They know this, and I'm sure they pass it on to your elected officials, who will then set the budget and decide where money is prioritized and where things are.
Well, I think the
I
garbage
mean,
is one.
then
Don't
then
you
you
think
need
the
to talk.
garbage
You
is
need to
one?
talk to your
You
elected
think
officials.
that, well, elected officials, I don't think we have any faith in them, to be honest.
Well,
I'm
they
telling you like how
set the
it is.
budget. Let's keep in mind, though, caller, that they do set the budget for
Yeah,
different agencies and departments. And I take Mr. Sims' point, because when he was saying it, it really kind of hit home. Think about the mass development on this island, all the condos. Every
They
time I
knew
go
it
into
was
West Bay,
coming.
I'm just
It's
like,
not
oh my
that they
God,
got
another
contract.
development.
They knew it was coming. Planning
yeah,
knows
but
everything before the public know. They know what the apartment building is coming up 2 years prior or 5 years prior. This is something they can have prepared for.
All right.
Yeah, but let me address that though.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, I can still address that because the thing is,
Yes.
to be fair to the government, right? They have been providing us with the necessary funding that we need, right?
Yeah.
Because, but the problem is, as soon as we we get these with additional resources, because right now, I mentioned earlier on in the show that I have 5 trucks coming hopefully by the end of this month, right? But as soon as you put them into operation, you're like, so they got so consumed, and you say, well, where they went? And so we need more. You know what I mean? Because of the constant pace that we're.
So it's like the cat chasing the mouse type of situation. You're always chasing.
But to
we
be fair to the
do have a
government,
replacement program, so
yeah,
we are replacing the trucks at the rate that they depreciate. In addition to that, we are adding more trucks to the fleet as we go along in all areas. But I think Mr. Sims saying that's to accommodate once a week. If we want to accommodate twice a week, and we're happy to do whatever. We'll see what comes out of this trial. In terms of how we can manage the garbage in this new type of bin. But we will happily work with whatever resources we're given. So if we're asked to look into something, whether it's once a week or twice a week, like Mr. Sims saying, he'll put a proposal together for that, and that proposal will be considered. So it's not like we're not looking at these things. We certainly are.
Yes. All right, you've got multiple calls on the line. So we got 3 callers actually. So let's just give me 1 second. Let me see who was first in the queue. So first up we have, oh gosh, 1 second for me. Trying to merge them back. Oh, what's happening to the merge feature? It's not wanting to merge. Even the phone is tired this morning. All right. Uh-oh. Did I just hang up on everybody? Caller? Good morning. Oh my goodness. That's totally my fault. All right, caller, are you there? Okay, give me 1 second. I will call you all back. I think that was my little fingers there. So we had 525. Yes, caller's calling back. Good morning, caller. Sorry about that.
That's all right, Sandy. I've been hung up before. Good morning to you and your guests. I think people need to be held a little bit more accountable for themselves. Everybody, well, not everybody, but there's a lot of complaints coming in, but nobody's really saying anything positive for a service that's being provided. Is it perfect? No. Are the guys that drive the trucks perfect? No. What in Cayman is perfect. However, we now know that there are recycling stations throughout the island. Now everybody can take their plastic, their paper, their cardboard, their aluminum to these recycling stations, and they will have much more room in their garbage cans. And I just think that, we have to be a little bit more environmentally friendly with our own island. Clean it up a bit. You'll always have those people who are disrespectful. They don't care. They're going to pile the garbage. The garbage is going to fall out of their bins. It's going to be all over the place. You're going to still have those people that are going to throw garbage out their windows no matter what when they're driving down the road. But here they're coming up with a plan. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's going to be an experiment, and they're trying to explain to people that this is something that they're going to try. It's a trial to see how it works. And we also know that things that don't belong to us, we don't always necessarily take care of. That's company vehicles, that's machinery, that's anything. So I think that what they're implementing is great. I hope it works. Yes, they'll have to work some things out, but that's all supported instead of bashing it. And they also have to understand, well, prices are increasing. If we end up having to have recyclable containers put in every residence on island, who's going to absorb that cost? People are talking about bringing more trucks. Who's going to absorb that cost? I mean, people have to stop and think. And like I said, take accountability. Do some things for yourselves. That's all I have to say.
Yes. And I mean, to the caller's point, there's no such thing as a free meal. So everything we pay for in some form or another. So that's for sure. So thank you, caller, for adding some perspective to that. Really appreciate it. And another caller said, who's listening to the program, people just love complaining for the sake of complaining. My goodness. Ay, what a hot mess. We had another caller. I don't think this caller got through. Oh, we got Denny calling again. Denny, they soon tell you you're going to have a limit. Good morning, sir.
I'm going to charge him a consultancy fee. I was listening to the recommendation of the Minister Brian. And I'd like to ask your guest if, let's say I have 4 bins and I put them, let's say, within a couple feet of the boundary near the road. And I place garbage bags in those bins and I close the covers properly and there's no overflowing garbage. Would you consider that to be sightly or unsightly?
No, I certainly wouldn't consider it to be unsightly. And the only concern I would have is how close to the road you're putting them, if they're going to obstruct any passage. Because it's not about just mobile traffic. There's foot traffic as well and cyclists, right? As long as you're not obstructing the roadway. Yeah.
Because it's not about mobile traffic, private, and nobody's traversing my property. And so what I'm saying is that the bins are properly within my boundary. And nobody's traversing my property. And so what I'm saying is that the bins are properly within my
There's some feedback there.
Yeah, I think we have another call on the line. Caller, if you can end whatever background. I think you might be playing the radio in the background. So we have merged the calls. Just turn that down for me. So Denny, you're saying it's not obstructing the
it's not obstructing.
No,
because it's on my private property.
Yeah.
No one has a right to be traversing on my property, so I'm not interfering with the flow of anyone.
Yeah, that wouldn't be.
Let me finish my thought. I'm not interfering with the view of any traffic traversing the road. I'm not interfering with any flow of anything whatsoever. I have it properly contained within my boundary, and there's no overflowing garbage.
No, you certainly. Based on what you've described, that definitely wouldn't be in any way, shape, or form to be unsightly.
The reason why I'm asking you this question is very simple. If I live on the 3rd floor of a complex, I'm not going to keep garbage in my house for a week and then wheel it down the night before.
All right.
I think it's reasonable if garbage is stored properly in the bin in an appropriate location on the boundary, that is a workable situation.
Yeah, that's certainly acceptable. Yeah.
Okay, Danny, thank you.
That's my point.
All righty. Next caller. Good morning, Colin. Welcome to the program.
So, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning to the panel there.
Good morning.
Gentlemen, I'd just like to convey to all the guys on the road respect due for the hard work that everybody does.
Yes,
it's a tough job, and they deserve respect for the work that they do.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, it's deserved. The first question I'd like to ask y'all is this: have you, as a department, given any consideration to establishing a drop-off point of solid waste to each district? The economic reality. people. And I'm not speaking about the lazy people, and I'm not speaking about those who are just disrespectful litters. But drop-off points in each district for bulk waste that could be serviced by the department with grab trucks, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's my first question for you. I'm going to listen to your answer, and then hopefully I'll be able to ask another one.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, to the caller point, the answer is yes. We have considered it, and especially in the eastern districts, we looked at the distance people are unwilling to drive to dispose of bulk waste. Hence the reason why we've been having a lot of problems with bulk waste disposal illegally on private property and in public spaces in the eastern districts. And I can tell you, and Mike knows his team has to go out there almost every week on a weekly basis to clean up some of these unsightly places, because people don't have the facilities out in these districts to dispose of bulk waste. So they don't want to have that long drive into Georgetown, and they find these little places to dispose of their waste illegally. And not to say that we're not actually looking at prosecuting people for that, but the challenge is without the proper evidence, right, to say who is it that doing these things, or persons who see these people illegally dumping, that we need persons to be willing to come and give statements to that effect, because they call us and tell us, oh yes, you got to investigate it, but then remember, in most cases, they say, okay, then we go to the place, you see fridge, stove, and then you're like, okay, so who are these things belonging to, right? We don't know who they belong to, we don't know how they got there, but then they will say, but you're not prosecuting anybody. But that's not how the system works. I just can't take that and say, okay, we're going to put a file together and go to court and charge who. We need to have somebody to accuse for those things, and we need to have people who are willing and to say, okay, yes, I did see this person drove this car, registration number 123 on this day, and I am willing to go to court and testify it's the same, right? But some people would call us and give us the information and say, I don't really want to get involved in it. So, but I see all of this thing, but we can't take that alone to court. We need people to give evidence. Right?
Yes.
May I speak to
That's a
that?
good point. Yeah. All right, caller.
Referring to High Rock Drive.
Yes. That is one of the main problem.
Yeah. Am I able to speak here?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Yes, I did so. I think there's some confusion if I'm looking at, for instance, the High Rock Drive. No doubt there's people all the time who are just simply dumping trash out their window. So the roadside is constantly inundated, adds the cost of having your guys coming along the roadside. But there's two spots there. And in the past, there was actually a skip that was put out there. And then it was there temporarily. People started using it, started getting used to it. And then it was removed. There's another spot that has started being used further inland, which has never had a skip there. But it's obviously an issue. And that's one of the reasons why I ask about a drop-off point for each district, because I think, for one thing, gentlemen and lady, the economics of driving from East End, for instance, into town, it's problematic for people, even in the best of circumstances, cost-wise and just simple logistics.
Right.
So I would suggest that you guys please take a closer look at that possibility of us here in Grand Cayman establishing a drop-off point for each district. I think that in the long term it would help the overall situation. And my follow-up question on another topic, y'all, is one, the plastic, aluminum, cardboard, and glass that is collected presently, is it actually being recycled, or is it really being recycled?
Okay.
And I'd like to get an answer to that question, and have one more question after, and then I'll leave you guys in peace.
Yeah, I mean, to be, that is, I've been here for 4.5 years, and that is in that time, that is the first question that I'm always asked, which I was surprised about, because I thought there was other kind of fish to fry around, garbage collections, landfill, those sorts of things. But that is the main question that I'm always asked. That if I put something in the recycling, will it actually reach a destination of being recycled? And the answer is yes. It will be, as long as it's the right type of plastic, type 1 and 2, and the materials won't contaminate. So things like food, or other contaminants, sometimes oil, and don't come in contact with the materials. If they are, then we will. I mean, there are occasions where sometimes we some recycling may go to the landfill. Those occasions where we have, again, where we're maintaining equipment, those sorts of things. But the majority of the material, whether it's plastic, paper, cardboard, and certainly metal cans, gets baled, and we ship those materials to the States. And I think, Sandy, like you're saying, we probably need to get the message out there, because we do this a couple of times a year, where we will show those containers with all those bales marked up, ready to go, because we have to meet all the requirements for shipping internationally, and we can show them to the people that, if you, again, believe it or not, I take people on tours of the landfill, I take them on tours of the recycling facility, and show all that. And that's the main thing that I want to show, is that those materials are sorted and managed by a hard-working team here, and that we put them in containers and we ship them away.
Yeah, and what I will extend to the caller, right? And if he so chooses, to visit our recycling plant to see the operation yourself, because we had to do that for for a few media houses, but some time back, because so many people were skeptical about this whole recycling. Are we doing it? What we do with it? So we can arrange tours, like Mike just mentioned. We do tours often.
Can CMR go ahead and book a tour, since we're talking about that?
Absolutely.
We would love to come, because then we can share it right here on the show and let people know. I mean, I've never seen it, so I don't know what it involves.
Yeah, you can come and see the whole operation, where the trucks comes in with the stuff, the whole sorting and baling, packing, and prepare for shipping. We can certainly take you through that.
Sign me up.
But I want to address his first question, though, in relation to the bins that were placed in the Eastern District. I've had discussion with the MP for Eastern, who we looked at different locations where you can possibly put these, set up a similar 24-hour drop-off like what we have at our landfill, right? So we tried it with this. Well, during that time, when you saw those bins being placed in East End at the Civic Center and along High Road, was trying to think to say, okay, let me see how that will work, and it turned out to be a nightmare, right? So instead of people respecting the bin that it's full and just don't add anything more, it turned out into we couldn't even get to the bin itself, the way how there was so much garbage around it. And that means every single time that happens, Mike has to find the resources now to send the team up to go and clean it all out, so the truck can get to it. That should be a one-man, one-truck operation, right? If it's done properly. But when we saw where people are over, you couldn't even see the bin. So you have to now send two, instead of sending a one truck, a one-man operation, it turns into a team of people and two trucks, right? That you have to waste all this time and resources to continue to clean it up every week. And it was like, we couldn't keep up that pace. So I said, look, let's pull the bins, because it's just not working, right? But if people were to respect the fact that the bins are full, it's full, just walk away, and then when we come, we empty it and bring it back, then sure, but it was too taxing.
Yeah,
typically it's not
an overload of refuse there, which obviously points to the fact that the need was overriding the what was being able at that time to be provided. But I believe that the need, not only from the standpoint of simple, people are going to be littering
no matter what. And that's the unfortunate fact of the matter that you have to deal with. I think that let's not, please, I ask you guys, please not take a whole idea. I understand what you're saying. I witnessed it myself, to the point where you would need a grab truck to clear the debris away from the skip itself. And, there's a possibility of adding 2 or 3 more skips out there as a part of a sustained operation, which might help the situation. And that suggestion is one which I would hope you guys take into consideration as a possibility moving forward. And I know
I would say that I think that
everything else, but I think the need is there, and then a drive down the road was one example is going to show that there is definitely a need.
Yeah, but what I would say is that the majority of people that are dumping off, and if we're talking about High Rock Road,
I'm having trouble hearing your line, sir.
Yeah, we're going to hang up and let you listen through the radio, because then he can speak up a little bit as well.
Yeah,
thank you, caller.
Let me just say one more thing,
sure,
please, and then we'll go. Now, as it pertains to the glass situation here in Cayman, my first thought on that subject is that the waste stream is and can be a resource. Glass is probably the best suited for doing something with, whether it be used in our roads as a way to reduce the costs of road construction. And there are also other uses for the glass. Now, there are opportunities for entrepreneurs here in Cayman to utilize a crushed glass product if they were given access to it. I believe the gentleman there at the bottom of your screen is from Britain. And I know I researched years ago, there was a startup company, I think they're still in business, who was actually collecting glass from restaurants. They were able to invest the capital necessary into buying equipment, and then they were turning that glass product into bowls and wine glasses and beer steins and plates from this refuse product, thereby diverting it from the waste stream and able to make a living. And of course, they would actually give these products back to the restaurants who were kind enough to take the time to separate that glass out of there. So it was mutually beneficial for both parties involved.
Okay.
And I would just like to say, we should be looking towards that. We have the possibility of cottage industry in Cayman to make a positive change that would be good for everybody. And anything that could stand in the way of that, or anyone, should reconsider. And I'd just like to, I think that there's potential here where we can take a negative and turn it into a positive for everybody. And those chances, we need to take a hold of them, do what we can with that, and then move forward with what is definitely not going to be usable for anybody else. Anyway, have a
thank
good
you.
day.
I appreciate it.
All
right, my dear. This is turning into DEH marathon. I mean, obviously you guys are very popular, but we are going to start to wrap things up. We've been going over an hour with these gentlemen. I'm sure they did not expect this, but thank you all for the comments and questions. Ms. Morna says, Sandy, I'd like to say a big respect to all the guys that drive in the back of the truck. Only God knows how they do it. All the stuff that they have to pick up and smell, and the drainage from the bags, my sinuses, sorry, etc. Even though they break up our garbage bins and throw them down to run and get to the other bins, respect to them all. Vanessa says, I do respect DH staff. Caller, are you trying to join the show this morning?
No.
Okay, we're live.
I'm just telling you, I'm sending back the money for you now.
We're live on radio. Thank you, caller.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. All righty. Okay, folks, try to remember now, we got a morning show here every morning. So when you're calling, you're going to be live. Cameron has quite a few comments. Alejandro says definitely they do a good job at what they're capable of dealing with every day to try and get everybody's rubbish. So big congratulations. I think we had one more caller who was trying to call in. Let me see if we can grab this one, and then this will be the final call of the day. And so again, the pilot program launching in September. I'll show people what the application looks like as well.
Service is temporarily not available.
Oh, Lord. All right. So I don't know who that caller is, but if you're able to call us back, please do so. And let me just see now if I can pull up what so people can actually fill out. Do they have to fill out this form, or will you be selecting people kind of regardless?
We'd like everyone to complete a form, because we need to get their details, So it's there. It's on the website. If you need a form, you can call us up and we can send you one via email, or like I think Mr. Sims alluded before, we will be knocking on doors on the route as well in the coming weeks to both promote the scheme and to hopefully sign people up there and then.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I wanted to just try to open the form quickly so we can see. Hopefully it's a very simple form, but let's just have a look at it and see what we've got going on here. So again, this is an amazing pilot program, folks. Go ahead and get signed up, participate. This is the way to get it done. Let me see here now. It's supposed to be is it supposed to be a PDF form? Doesn't seem to be coming up as PDF for me, which is a little bit strange. But okay, so the form is, here, let me try this and see. The form cannot be previewed because there's an error in the file. Oh gosh. Can you check the file on the website for me? I don't know if that's just.
I'll just say I downloaded it yesterday. I printed it out.
Downloaded it yesterday.
Yeah. Got to test these things out. Yeah, it should work. I think it might, because I think it's in Word format. I don't know whether that's possibly.
It says that it's a PDF. Oh yes, I got it open. Hold on, let me see now if I can reopen it here on the screen. I do have it open on the computer, but let's see if the screen will allow me to open it. So it is a PDF form. People can just email that to you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is working. I've just tried it.
Yeah, I can't seem to save it, but I can't pull it up here, but let me just show people. There we go. So this is what the form looks like, folks. So basically, registration form, Will Bins Pilot Program Prospect 2023. You have to indicate if you're the owner of the property or if you're renting. If you're renting, you have to get permission. I see that here.
Yeah.
It says, I'm renting this property and I've been authorized by the owner to participate in the program.
Yep.
And then it talks about some guidelines and brochures and other outreach material that's going to be provided. They ask you how you'd like to receive the information. You can do email, WhatsApp, or SMS text. Trying to figure out the amount of waste that your household produces. So they do ask you, so they can provide the correct number of bins. They do ask you for the number of occupants in your residence. And then that's pretty much it. Then you say, I've read and understand the terms and conditions. You sign and date it and get it back to DEH by email, I'm guessing.
Yep.
And that's it. All right. Pretty simple, straightforward, nothing complicated. So folks, again, if you'd like to participate in this new program, please fill out this form, provide it to the Department of Environmental Health, and get on it. Sounds fantastic. Any final parting words for us this morning?
I just want to say thank you for inviting us and having us on this morning so we can talk about our program. And we hope to see all the persons on this route sign up and willfully participating so that we can collect the necessary data that we need to expand this beyond the prospect community to the rest of the island. So we're looking for good things ahead, and we also at the same time encouraging people to know that they know, at least for your listeners who are hearing us now, now know of our recycling program, we encourage people to take advantage of that and use the depots that are within their districts.
Beautiful. All right, folks. So again, thank you to Mr. Richard Sims, Director for the Department of Environmental Health. And we also had Mr. Mike joining us, who is Assistant Director of the Solid Waste section, Michael Howarth. And of course, we thank these gentlemen for answering all of your questions, taking your feedback this morning on board. And we're excited to hopefully get a tour of the recycling facility, as well as maybe we'll catch up with you in a couple weeks after the launch to see how things are going.
Yes, yep,
Okay.
sure.
Thank you
Make
very
sure
much.
to book a tour with Mike.
Yes, book a tour with Mike. All right, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break.
I am Heather Bodden, MP for Savannah and a lifelong advocate for the environment. Illegal dumping is a crime, so please take civic pride in our home and put litter where it belongs. If you see someone littering, report it to the Department of Environmental Health on 949-6696.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.